Greetings, my little chicken noodles. Well, so I flounced from YouTube because I hate them. I hate them.
I think you're freaky and I like you a lot. I think you're freaky and I like you a lot.
You know, some time ago I decided that I could do more good by saying complimentary things to people who put out valuable material. I thought I could do more good by doing that, by complimenting informative, valuable content than I could do by putting out my own shit, because frankly, because YouTube doesn't let me reach my audience. It doesn't let me grow my audience. YouTube. Oh, okay, well, I mean, I knew this, but it seems to be getting worse. It's been going on for a long time, but it seems to be getting worse. That YouTube actually shadow bans comments. I could say something nice to Sean Atwood, he'll never know. I could say something honestly complimentary to Carl Benjamin, and he will never know. Because YouTube blocks my comments, my complimentary comments, to creators whom I want to encourage to do what they're doing. And I'd had enough, so I flounced and I took all my videos down, and it took a long time, and it seemed like YouTube was even trying to stop me from taking them all down, which is weird because my channel is totally demonetized. I don't make any money, never have made any money. I've had millions of views in total across my current and other channels that I've tried to run. Never made any money. And I don't mind not being able to make ad revenue, but I would like to be able to get enough loyal subscribers to, I don't know, sell you guys some shit. Because there's gonna come a time when I'm too old to write 3,000 words a day, 7 days a week, as a ghostwriter. My fingertips hurt. My fingertips are fucking sore. All right. Shouldn't be a bitch fest. There's supposed to be a fucking clock. Maybe there isn't on my camera, because I know these things will shut off after 30 minutes. I'll just have to keep an eye on it. Hope I don't waste my breath too much. So my last computer died, and that had a shitty but serviceable webcam with which I could do live streams. The webcam on my new laptop is total garbage. The electrical system on the thing seems to be crap. I almost blew it out by connecting a speaker to the USB, a sort of boombox, Bluetooth speaker. I don't use Bluetooth. It's stupid to use wireless technology if you don't have to. It's foolish. You should use Ethernet as much as possible. And battery power, and AC power as much as possible. Avoid as much wireless shit as you possibly can, because it's not good for you. How do I know it's not good for you? I'll tell you how I know it's not good for you. You see, the microwave ovens, the microwave oven in your home works on the same technology as radar. In fact, when they were first invented and marketed, it was called the radar range. And people didn't want it because women thought it was scary, because radar is a military technology. But they were right to be scared, because I will tell you that when I was in the Navy, we used to take bags of popcorn on a coat hanger and hang it over the side of the ship where there was an enormous radar panel on the side of the superstructure, and we would cook our popcorn by hanging it over the side. So, you know, and all of this wireless technology it's microwave technology. It's the same wavelength of radiation. And everything electrical puts out dirty electricity. You know, this is why incidences of cancer have gone up ever since electricity, just plain old electricity, was wired into people's houses. Now, I'm not saying I'm against electricity, but I think maybe the Amish are onto something. I really do. And when I see those people around town, I rode my unicycle to the park yesterday evening, and there were some Amish people out there just fishing and hanging out, and they seem so healthy. They have ruddy red cheeks, and they're big, and they look strong. Fucking Amish, And when they ride around in their horse and buggy, it's charming. All right, so I've been doing this wheel jerk thing, and you guys really ain't been watching. You watched a bit, when it was on YouTube, and I don't think I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm gonna stab, and I think I'm gonna read you news stories in a weekly segment in this format. I might cut in some ride video now and then if my face is looking too puffy for Whiskey Sundays, and I'm going to turn this format into Whiskey Sundays. Hopefully, because if I end up having to work on a Sunday and don't have time to do the podcast, if I have to work when I would do the podcast, I'm going to end up not doing it on that day and then doing it the next day and drinking my whiskey that evening. So that sucks. So it's all up to the Lord. It's all up to the Lord. But I'll tell you guys, I'm really uncomfortable with the way the political scene is going. Really uncomfortable about it. With the Jehovah's Witnesses coming door to door to people. Have you had the Jehovah's Witnesses come to your door and try to? See, they're not just coming around to ask you whether or not you've been pokenized. They're coming around to mark down. They're not just coming around to give you propaganda. They're coming around to make a list of who is and who is not stabinized. And just quick before I forget, YouTube, fuck you. YouTube employees, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. God damn it, I fucking hate you. But yeah, I've been struggling with anger because of the fucking censorship, for one thing, but not only that, in my life too. And I talked about this a little bit in my most recent wheel jerk video. It's like I almost don't even want to do my hobby anymore. I almost don't even want to go out and ride my electric goers, because fucking drivers are so shitty. They're so fucking stupid. So fucking stupid. I cannot go out and ride my unicycle in the daytime without some fucking driver doing something retarded. Stopping in the crosswalk. Pulling in front of me and getting right in my way to ask me what I'm riding. Like I'm riding a dildo and it's going up your ass, motherfucker. Don't get in my fucking way. Or they'll hover next to me. I'm in the bike lane, they'll hover next to me. Try to ask me what it is. Or just look and point and then take video. Fuck off. Get away from me. I can't tell you how many fucking times I wanted to turn left and some goddamn motherfucker in a big black truck with his big fat butt is blocking my left turn. Yeah, it's unbelievable. That's not even the worst thing. There's always the guy who's like, hey, that's cool, come here. Fuck you, I'm going somewhere, asshole. I'm fucking going to the store. Hey, and they'll get mad. Hey, come here. What the fuck? You think I'm just out for fun, and I am out for fun, but not just. The worst thing is when I'm in the road, and I can do 35, 40 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour if I have to, just to keep up with traffic. But if I'm gonna turn left I'm in the road, not in the bike lane, and I want to turn left into, to go to the park or something, and there's cars coming the other way, so I'm slowing down, and the people behind me, they think that's my speed. I'm doing like a mile an hour because I don't want to come to a complete stop and put my left foot on the ground. I just want to go 1 mile an hour until the cars get out of my way, and I can make my left turn. Motherfuckers behind me assume I'm on a toy, and they will go around. As soon as the cars stop coming, they will go around me on the left. I've started carrying mace, and I'm this close to shooting mace into somebody's fucking window. I hate them. I fucking hate You're willing to go to the government, not even the government, the DMV, and look into the eyes of the most uninspired people on earth, the most stupid and uninspired people on earth beside the cops, and beg them for your freedom to move around. May I please have the freedom to use this machine which I've paid thousands and thousands of dollars to have, and I pay thousands and thousands of dollars not to have it taken away from me. May I please drive it around, please? Yeah, and then you're willing to pay for the black magic spell that is insurance, and then every time you come to a satanic symbol in the form of a red hexagon that says stop, whether or not anyone's coming, you'll stop. Okay. I don't respect these people. And the machines themselves are designed to fall apart. You ever heard of I think it's the Toyota Helix or maybe Helios? These trucks were used by terrorist armies in the Middle East to win wars. Toyota Helios trucks. You know how fucking tough they were? You know how those trucks were shot full of 50 caliber holes and they would still run. They would be slammed into by tanks and still run. And they defeated tanks. You know why? Because they would bolt a 50 cal into the bed of the truck and they could outrun and outmaneuver any armored vehicle ever. Toyota Helios. Yeah, but your fucking Mazda can't go a month without the drivetrain falling out the bottom of it. Fuck that. It's designed to fall apart because they want you weak. They want you weak. It's just the same way that Hitler put out the Volkswagen as a weak, underpowered vehicle to keep people weak. And you beg for it, and you pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to be one of these people so you can ride around in your mobile living room and smell your own farts. Sit on a chair that's full of your own farts and just sit there and breathe it, and breathe it, and breathe it. And these are the same motherfuckers who will stop in the crosswalk. Just fucking stand there. And when I say, get out of the fucking crosswalk, they're like, what? What am I waiting? I don't know what are you? You're a magic man. Yeah, I hate my own hobby. I hate my beautiful new hobby. can't enjoy it. And I think I'm gonna start writing more at night, which is dangerous, but I love the feeling of cool air, and I love to see the moon and the stars and the clouds. And I like to high-five the trees. I can't give all that up just because people are fucking retarded slaves. Retarded, slave-brained, willing dupes of extortionists. And then there's the cops. You know what the cops will fucking do? They'll pull up beside me and act like they're pulling me over, like I'm supposed to respect that. And then they just want to ask me questions about my machine. Like, fuck you. Go put on civilian clothes and ask me about it like a goddamn man. Don't try to scare me and then expect me to be glad when you're not actually arresting me. Fuck you. No, that is a hostile gesture, and I don't appreciate it. Go put on your fucking civilian clothes and talk to me like a man. You extortion money fed piece of garbage with a satanic symbol on your chest and on your head. Go home and abuse your family. At least they've agreed to it. Yeah, so all that's great. So let's see. God, I don't even know. I haven't been keeping track of time. I don't know how long I have before the camera cuts out. I mean, I could turn it right back on. It's not like I'm live or anything. Don't say that. All right. So I'm gonna read some news, and then I'm going to introduce you to a new segment. It's going to be story time. All right. It's going to be story time with whatever the fuck I'm called. But let's see, news or story time? I don't know which way. Let's start with story time. This is something I've been writing for many years. I wrote a novel based on this story, and it's probably the only story I'll ever write. But the novel version was a sort of I didn't even know about MK Ultra, but it was basically an MK Ultra story. After binging on the entire catalog of Carlos Castaneda books, I started writing this story, and it's basically the story of a bunch of sort of beatniks, sort of modern beatniks, and they get caught up with this psychologist who owns property out in the woods and out in the woods, and uses psychedelic impregnated books, religious books, to turn people into like spiritual monsters. And I lost that book. I lost that novel. It was on an external hard drive that just took a shit, stopped working. Now I don't have it anymore. So that sucks ass. But I do have a hard copy of my first novel, Werther Underground, which I believe needs a rewrite because my political views were retarded back then. But I think the story itself is pretty good. But so this iteration of the story is for now is called Old Sweet Jane. I walked into the back room hoping to see Amphetamine Jane drinking another cocktail made from grease cutter and wine. She was there all right, sucking on something made with expensive gin. Not good gin, not the kind that makes you smell like a Christmas tree, but the strong kind, the kind that will peel your lips into an evil grin if you let it, either pair. I put a little grass in the end of a cheap cigarette so that I wouldn't have to kill whoever had brought her that gut rot. Jim had gone to the other side of town to injure some teenage pukes who'd poisoned his mother's dog. And it was too bad because he would have been useful, keeping me from getting too upright or hateful over Jane's new plaything. He was tall, maybe 6'5", and thin, with short cropped hair on the back of his head and a kind of gull's wing for bangs covering half of his face. His back arched forward from the shoulder blades to the neck, and his head craned 45 degrees from his soft-bred shoulders. He looked like someone had poured duck's milk into 3 beakers, balanced them on top of one another, and put a wig on top of it. He didn't sit on his stool, he leaned back into it, and his ass ended up in the right spot because of his proportions, high hips, short spine, and I thought, coke dealers are getting more unfit for purpose all the time. I knew I could kick that stool out from under his puckered anus, and that all that might slow it down was the suction. But I still had guilt in me from pushing over that row of mopeds in front of the bookstore on Pacific. The place is called Logos, pronounced Logos, but the people who ride those fucking scooters call it Logos. The guilt would pass. I made eye contact with Jane, but she pretended it didn't happen. So I walked up to Milk Boy, put my boot between his Nikes, took what remained of Jane's drink, poured it into his, necked half of it, and walked away with the rest. He didn't even whine. If I'd done that to my coke dealer, Mario, I'd have a boot heel in my sacrum. I found Jim sitting behind a bush across the street from the squat op where the dog poisoners were flopped. I put my electric unicycle in a dumpster behind the building, squatted down behind the bush, sidled up to him, and started asking questions. If I go in there, he said, I'm going to kill those kids. I know, I said, what do you want to do? Chipper shredder. Naturally, I said, but what are we going to do actually? I handed him a weed-capped cigarette and tried to give him a look of understanding. You're right, he said. I'll wait, put it off till I'm cooler. Just hurt him. Then he lit up and thanked me. You have the finest manners of anyone I know, I told him, and it was true. Jim was black as night. Still is, if he's still alive, God willing. He wore a cowboy hat and rode a skateboard, I kid you not. He was the one that Mario got his style from. He would bum a cigarette, but never your last one. Or never your second to last. That was a weird spacing there. If you had an idea, he was always game. But what proved to me that he was a fine man was... That's weird, there's a big long space there, I don't know why. Was the fact that he would never entertain white guilt. If you ever tried to get his perspective as a man of color in America, he would curtly but politely change the subject. He cured me of that ugly habit, and he never had to say a word about it. Good old Jim. He finished his grass cap, and I could tell he felt calmer. I'm still angry, he said, but I've got some distance. I left my wheel behind the building, I told him. You want to shoot some pool? He did. There is a white cat in Santa Cruz. It's a ghost. An angelic double agent, or maybe a clone army, genetically optimized with psychedelic pheromones that can diffuse a bar fight with a psychoactive fart. Most people don't even believe in it, but I've seen it. I've seen it turn a would-be rapist into mush. I've seen it take a nail shop slaveholder and set his whores free and hand them cash on their way out. There were times when I thought the white cat might see me as a less innocent party. And it was enough to get me back on track. Jim says he's never seen it, doesn't believe in it. I decided to prove it to him that the cat was real. Let's go to your place, I said. I need to charge my wheel. Why don't you get a proper skateboard, he asked. They're slow, I told him. If you want me to run errands with you, buy me dinner, he said. Fine, I agreed. And that's the end of that. I'm going to restart the camera and talk a little bit about the stuff you just listened to. Alright, so the story, as I call it, currently tentatively entitled Old Sweet Jane. I think I've never been able to settle on a name for it, and it's been an ongoing project for many years. It includes the obnoxiously political Werther Underground, the obsessively spiritual other novel, which I what did I used to call it? Legerdemain, Uruz, Cult of the Seeker. I've never been able to settle on a name. To me, it's just the story. Because of what the word Uruz means to me, it makes sense to call it Great Black Cow. It makes reference to the Steely Dan song about some addict whore who needs to get the hell out of someone's life. Drink your big black cow and get out of here. Of course, it's unabashedly autobiographical. I find that it's the best way to write sassily and grittily is to write a character that's basically a cocaine cowboy version of myself. The idea of it is to primarily to be fun and funny, and hopefully, you know, get across something valuable in the going. All right, now we're gonna read some news. See how you like it. And I think we're going to call this Whiskey Sunday. Alright, even though I'm drinking tea. Why not let's just take it back to those days. Alright? Because I've got 2 subscribers on Subscribestar. I don't want to let those guys down. And I need to get 3 more of you so I can get my $20. Alright. Shit, did I read this one before? I think I might have. Well, I'm gonna read it anyway because you guys didn't fucking watch it. It's over on Rumble, which I don't think I'm gonna keep it up over there. Alright. Let's do some news. I reported recently that on January the 6th the FBI had multiple agents who, having infiltrated patriot groups, acted in a way that made it plausible for said patriot groups and Trump supporters to be vilified and to dub the event a riot and even an insurrection. Now the court case has gone forward and members of the Trump administration are being permitted, oh thank you very much Master, permitted by the Justice Department to testify about the events of that day. Before I start singing the praise of the federal government for allowing Trump's officials to speak, let's bear in mind that the federal government created this situation with the intention of vilifying Trump, his supporters, and anyone promoting a populist agenda. According to Politico, Bradley Weisenheimer, the Associate Deputy Attorney General, said that ranking Trump aides, quote, are authorized to provide information learned during their time in the administration. He continues saying, department lawyers, including those who have left the department, are obligated to protect non-public information they learned in the course of their work. The DOJ has warned former Trump officials that they may speak as long as the testimony they provide is confined to the interviews set forth by the committees and does not divulge classified information, grand jury information, or pending criminal cases. Of course, those restrictions could preclude any testimony about the events of January 6th due to the fact that dozens of people have been caught up in the federal dragnet, including journalists who had nothing to do with either conservative or Democrat causes. The corporate media have not reported on this fact, But many people who were present that day have been arrested and held without charges, simply because they were close enough to the story to tell the truth about the so-called insurrection. 5 people died during the gathering on Capitol Hill on January the 6th. One was Ashley Babbitt, who was shot without warning in the neck by Capitol Police after an unknown party called out a false alarm. The second was a Capitol Police officer who was said to have been beaten to death by protesters. However, these reports have been proven false. The other 3 deaths were unrelated medical emergencies. In fact, there are a number of anomalies surrounding the shooting of Ashley Babbitt. For a start, in the video showing the event, people around Babbitt are not acting like someone within arm's reach of them had just been shot. Second, the officer who is meant to have shot her had his gun aimed too low to deliver a neck wound, and police are trained to aim for center mass. Thirdly, Babbitt's neck did not appear to be bleeding until after she was removed from the scene. These are strange details indeed, and if the restrictions the DOJ has placed on the Trump administration's witnesses involve anything on this level of events, you can expect that they will be silenced. However, these witnesses may offer information on a more administrative level. Perhaps they will be able to shed light on the multiple FBI plants who instigated the violence and have not been arrested or charged. Former Vice President Joe Biden is becoming more and more focused on setting up stabilization mandates, lockdowns, and masking directives. Recently, the CDC took the opposite position, backing off from pushing these types of regulations in light of decreasing infection rates and decreasing rates of death as attributable to chickenpox. During an address to the intelligence community, Biden derided the unstabinized, saying, "If you haven't gotten the stabilization by now, then you're not nearly as smart as I thought." Have you seen that clip where Biden staggers toward a reporter, maybe, and says, "My butt's been wiped"? Have you seen that? "My butt's been wiped." If you've ever, I've taken care of the elderly for many years, and the way he speaks sounds exactly the way a doddering old man on his way out of the world might speak. "My butt's been wiped! My butt's been wiped!" Biden continued to comment that if more people would get stabilized, there might not be a need for further lockdowns. Oh, thank you very much. Has your butt been wiped? So mote it be. However, the new guidance from the CDC makes it more likely that the new lockdowns and the new mandates will be put into place no matter what people do. At present, the numbers of deaths and injuries related to the stabilizations are rising far in excess of the danger of the actual virus. At the same time, stabilized people are being told that they will have to be stabilized over and over. That the stabilization will become more of a therapeutic to be administered on a monthly basis. We are also being told that the stabilized should continue to wear face diapers. Last Tuesday, the CDC Director Rachel Walensky said that too few Americans have been taking the stabilizations, and that those who have not will be asked to wear face diapers in public. I have been over the many scientifically corroborated reasons why wearing a face diaper during daily activities and at work is a bad idea. And I won't repeat all of those reasons here. But Walensky's statements are tantamount to making second-class citizens out of those who understand the many reasons that the, what did I call it? The chickenpox stabinizations are not to be trusted. The inventor of the mRNA and DNA stabilization technology, Dr. Robert Malone, has recently come out saying that these vaccines are experimental and dangerous. He is just one of many qualified experts making such claims, all of whom are being silenced by the media and ignored by the government. Fuck you, YouTube. Malone told Brett Weinstein that the protein spike present in the unvetted stabilizations is a bioactive cytotoxin, which he said he, the creator of the technology, used in these unproven, unapproved stabilizations. A bioactive cytotoxin, which he said the chickenpox stabilizations instruct your cells to make and could be dangerous. Meanwhile, we are being gaslit with claims about chickenpox variants. Walensky said, "Today we have new science related to the Delta variant that requires us to update the guidance regarding what you can do when you are fully stabilized." Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. That's not shutting up. Squirt gun! At this time, this was last week, 3,544 deaths following stabilizations have been reported out of 95 million recipients. What these official reports are not telling you is that most of the deaths following the stabilization are marked down as chickenpox deaths and not counted as stabilization deaths. This goes beyond fraud. This is mass murder. It's mass murder. Yeah. So, but when you look out the window, and when you go about your life, as far as I can tell, very little of this even seems real. Yeah, there are dummies walking down the street with their face diapers on, but that's about it. And I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, why do you do that? I'm gonna squirt you. Got her. Yeah, you're gonna have to lick that off. Yeah, guys. I'm pretty worried. I'm pretty worried. People are not getting smarter. And the top assholes are not getting nicer. They want our communities destroyed. They want small businesses wiped out. And they're doing a better job of it than ever before. This is a really scary time. My advice to you is get a bag of dehydrated rice, a large bag the size of your thigh, every time you go to the store, and just save that. I think that's one of the best long-term storable foods available. You can supplement that with other stuff, and you probably want to. But and also get some water filters. I think it's more important to have water filters than stored water, because you can always go find an old swimming pool, and you want a good 5-stage mechanical water filter, like the ones they have at Zero Water, which, if you remember, I reviewed their water filters a couple years ago. They work great. They work great. And they're easy, they're easy to store. They're not that expensive. One of those keeps me and my 2 children in fresh water for a month. So drinkable water for a month. So that's pretty good. It's pretty good. And they cost about between $15 and $20 a piece. It's worth it. It's worth it. Rice, dried rice in bags, and water filters. That's what I think you should have. And of course, weapons. You should be weapons and space blankets. Space blankets. Those metallic, plasticky, cheap camping blankets. Because that's the number. That's just they're really easy to. They're really compact when they're wrapped up. And if you have enough. Those things will keep you warm unless you're in absolutely freezing conditions. But that's it, guys. That's all for this return to ScrewTube, and fuck you, ScrewTube. Roughly, assholes, bastards, cunts, and fucks.
I think you're freaky and I like you a lot.